Hey everybody, this is Bart with Great Meals Barbecue, and today I'm going to be doing pulled pork on my reverse flow offset. Stay tuned. All right, I'm going to get started with our injection here. And again, this is just 50% apple juice and 50% apple cider vinegar. And some people will put the rub on before they do their injection. I really don't like to do that because it wipes a lot of the rub off, and then you have to just put it right back on again. So I do it beforehand, and I'm just going to poke in here and kind of inflate this thing up. And I'm going to go about every inch or so. Okay, I've got that full enough that all the injection is starting to run out. So there's no point going any further with that. All right, I'm going to flip this back over, and I am going to go ahead and put a binder on this. I'm going to use yellow mustard. I've just always done it that way. You can do this with your hands if you want. I prefer to use a brush, but this is just regular yellow mustard. Some people don't put a binder. I've just always done it. So I think the vinegar and the mustard helps break down the meat a little bit, helps tenderize it. And I am going to get the ends here and the sides. I'm not going to put a lot of rub on here. And like I said, I will put a link to my to the recipe for this rub down below. All right, I'm going to get this covered up, get it in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll be back about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning when I put this on. All right, it is bright and early on Sunday morning, and it's about 39 degrees out here. And we're going to go ahead and get started on the getting the rub on. I've just about got the smoker up to temp here. And I had this in the refrigerator overnight to let the rub set in, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little extra rub. And what I've got for wood here today is I've got a little bit of apple and some pecan wood that I'm going to put in here. I am using charcoal this morning to get everything going. And I'm going to just dust a little more of this dry rub on top of it. Just to give it some extra bark. And I am probably going to wrap this when it gets to about 165. I really don't know. Depends on what it looks like when it gets to that temperature. So we'll see what happens here in about, I don't know, probably about 5 hours. And I'm not even going to put a probe in this, probably for the first 4 or 5 hours. To when I think it's about to 165, 170 degrees once it's going to hit the stall there. There's no point in putting one in there before that. So let me get the smoker ready to go, and we'll be back. All right, we are right at about 225 here, so I'm going to go ahead and get this in here. And I usually like to do mine right at 225, 250. This one's a pretty small, but it's about a 7.5 pounder. So I don't think I'll have to worry about getting this done. It's a little after 7, and I'm gonna have this ready for my son when he gets home from work at about 6:30. So we're gonna go ahead and just get this right in the center here. And the nice thing on this offset reverse flow is I really don't need to be concerned as to whether I put it on the firebox side or the other side. This thing keeps heat pretty even all the way across. So that's never really been a issue at all with this. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close this up, and we'll be back to check on it in about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. I am going to go ahead and spritz this with the same stuff I use for the injection, half apple juice, half apple cider vinegar. And like I said, once it gets to about 165, 170, once the bark actually looks the way I want it to look, we'll go ahead and get this thing wrapped up, and we'll be back. Alright, I'm going to try something here. I don't know if you can hear this. The wind's kind of blowing. But I want to try to get the microphone up here and see if you can hear it. So this reverse flow smokers, reverse flow offsets. One nice thing about it is all the juices drip down onto the plate, the baffle plate that runs from end to end. And I'll see if I can get the microphone up here and see if you can actually hear this. Hang on, I've got a couple cars going down the road over here. But I want to see if you can actually hear the juices on this. And I think what that gives is kind of like the same result you get on a UDS when the or a barrel smoker, if the with the grease dripping down onto the coals and coming back up. So you get that I don't want to say grease smoke, but you get that grease flavor coming back up on there. It keeps the meat moist inside the reverse flow. All right, it's been right at 3 hours here. I'm going to go ahead and give this a spritz. We're going to let it go for probably another hour or so, and then I'll go ahead and put the probe in it and kind of see where we're at, about 165, somewhere right around in there, 170, and that's where I'm going to want to go ahead and wrap this up. So we'll be back when we get to that point. All right, this thing has got up to right at about 155, and I think that's close enough for what I want on the temperature here, because the color is just about how I want it. Take a look and see what we've got here. And we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. A little sticky. All right, yeah, that color is just almost exactly what I wanted. I can give you a little better look there. Could be just a little darker, but that's going to be okay. I'll close that up. That retains some of the heat while I'm getting this wrapped over here. And I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of the apple juice and apple cider vinegar in the foil here. I'm not going to go crazy with it because I don't want to, it's going to draw moisture out of there and I don't want to lose all my bark. So we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. Alright, I'm going to double wrap it. This is just so I don't accidentally poke a hole in it and lose all my juice. This may not cover it completely, but it's going to be fine. Mainly what I want to protect is the bottom. Like I said, from getting a hole torn in it and losing all that juice that's rendering out of there. All right, we're going to get this back in here, and I'll check it probably in another hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours, see where it's at. I'm shooting for about 195, and I really don't go by that too much. I mean, I do check it, but mainly I probe it with the instant read thermometer to check for tenderness. And once it's tender, I take it out, and then I will actually put a little bit more rub on it and put it back in the smoker and let that bark crisp up. I'll crank the heat up a little higher once I get to that point. All right, we're going to check this here and see what it looks like. Let's see what we got on the temperature here. Ooh. The amount of juice that rendered in there. All right, let's see what we've got. I'm looking for about 195 to 200, 205, something like that. Oh, it's just as tender as can be here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it is 205. Well, that's a little deep there, let's say. 199, 203. All right, we're going to go ahead and instead of pulling this completely out, I am simply going to open that up and put it back in here for about another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to get that bark to harden back up. And we'll be back when it's finished. All right, our shoulder's rested for about a half hour, 45 minutes here. Normally I'd let it rest longer, but it's about time to eat, so we're going to go ahead and get this unwrapped. The color on that came out perfect. Let's see if I can get that bone to pull away. Fairly clean, it's falling off there pretty easy. Just like that. And like I said, the color on this came out perfect. I don't know if you can see that smoke ring in there. But we're going to go ahead and get this pulled, and I'll be back when we plate it up. And there you go. There's our pulled pork with some French fries and some coleslaw, and we're ready for dinner. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.